This is the Splatoon multi-game all bosses speedrun. It's not a real speedrun, but that isn't gonna stop me. I intend to beat every boss in the Splatoon series in under an hour without dying once. Here we go. So, Octostomp is the first boss, pretty simple. This is also NG+, while I would have liked to do this on a clean save file that would just be beating the whole series in one go. Octostomp's Octostomp can be easily dodged, and I can use a glitch known as the RFG, or Rapid Fire Glitch, to do extra damage. RFG is very simple. While firing the gun, you just mash various buttons on the D-pad. This speeds up the firing for some reason. Now, after completing Octostomp, I will pause the timer, and this is the reason why all bosses is not a real speedrun. It is a timing nightmare. The speedrun is timed with in-game time, meaning that I'm not counting the time it takes to go in between boss fights. If you've played Side Order, you'll know why. But with nearly everything cleared up, it's time for the second boss, Octonozzle. The Snotbot here can just be killed the normal way, except for throwing bombs up to the tentacle. What this will do is we'll make the tentacle bigger so you can hit it from the ground without needing to climb up it. Octoworld just requires you to remember what parts of the ground ink to get it stuck, and then you can RFG to kill the tentacle. Same with Octoshark, he can just kill it the normal way. Now we come to DJ Octavio, the longest boss in the series. Now here I'm going to be rapid fire glitching every single punch and every single eyeball. There is also a cool gimmick with enemies in the original Splatoon. They will only attack wherever they saw you last, so you can exploit this just to make the fight easier. I'll save some Ingzukas for the eyeballs as well, it just makes it faster. So, the original Splatoon is done, now we move on to Splatoon 2. So from here on out in nearly every game, you get to choose what weapon or a selection of weapons you want to use for each boss. And I will be choosing some type of charger for nearly all of them, because chargers are just amazing for speedrunning. They do massive damage, can fire a long distance, and if you upgrade them, they don't even take that long to charge. First boss in Splatoon 2 is the Octo Toastmaster Oven guy, who's pretty simple to defeat, just shoot the tentacle with a charger while on the ground. And in phase 3, it usually has this attack which takes ages, where it inks the whole arena, but you can just skip the whole thing by taking damage. Now we come to Octo Samurai, the quickest boss in the series. With a fully upgraded gun, you can absolutely destroy this boss in seconds. Wow, okay, that was good. Next we have the return of Octostomp, and there are actually some strategies to make this easier. After you break the armor, Octostomp will always try to charge towards you for the next hit, and the charge attack will end when it charges next to the edge of the arena. So if you run to the edge of the arena, you can just get it to end the charge earlier. Next is one of the most difficult to speedrun, the Octo Shower. I will choose the Slosher and use this bounce pad in the middle of the stage, and use it to leap up to shoot all the Octocopters in one go. This is quite difficult, because if you don't do it fast enough, it'll fly away. Thankfully, in my run, I did do all 3 phases perfectly. Octavio returns for Splatoon 2 and everybody's least favourite boss fight, speedrunners included. Octavio returns is pretty much based on luck. You could be doing a really good run, but then lose it to RNG. Also, the boss fight is really boring and all the phases are really similar. No! I have to go around the whole thing again. Alright. Still good, 5 minutes and 19 seconds is still a really good time, but it just could have been a lot faster if I hadn't messed it up then. Anyway, onto the Octo expansion, which is just all the bosses in Splatoon 2, but made to be ugly. A Toastmaster has this really cool fast strat where you use a Stingray to shoot the tentacle without having to climb up to the top. This is definitely me playing in the footage. I did not mess this strat up in my run. In stark contrast from the Octo Samurai in Splatoon 2 Hero Mode, the Sanitized Samurai is actually really hard. You can easily fall off the edge here, and because my goal is to beat this without any deaths, I want to play this very carefully and be sure to stay far away from the spin attack. About half the time you get hit by that, you die. But on this run I managed to get through it without dying. And Octostomp number 3, thankfully the last one in the series. Octostomp has very similar strats to the Hero Mode version, but this time I have a Bamboozler. It can still hit the tentacle without having to climb up the side, but it is a bit more difficult. Okay. This is the best run so far. This is the best attempt. And for the final Octo expansion boss in the stations, the Octo Shower. The Octo Shower is pretty simple. Okay, so after spending half an hour getting to Agent 3, we can fight Agent 3. Now, there are 2 Agent 3 boss fights in the Octo expansion, as you'll probably know. This is the easier one. Every phase can just be finished really simple and easy. The next boss is NILS. NILS is timed to take exactly 3 minutes, no matter how quickly you do it, so there are no fancy ways to speed this boss up. Then I totally forgot about Inner Agent 3 and moved on to Splatoon 3. I will do Inner Agent 3 at the end, like the final boss of the boss rush, which is appropriate because it's the most difficult. But in Splatoon 3 we have the last appearance of DJ Octavio, but this time he's the first boss. And there are actually some pretty cool methods to speed it up. The fastest way to deflect the punches is to use a splashdown, so I'll be constantly inking the arena to charge up my special. And at the start of Phase 2, there is a cool strat where you can throw Small Fry into the vacuum just slightly before one of his punches hits him in the face. This will get Small Fry stuck in the vacuum, even though there is no vacuum. After DJ Octavio, the next boss is Fry. Now in Splatoon 3, you can do a stupid amount of upgrades to your gear to make them stronger. And because I'm doing this EG+, I have every single upgrade, and these bosses are super easy. For Fry, I will save up a splashdown for save 3 and use it to destroy all her eels in her final attack. Next is Shiver, who does have a really cool speedrun skip where you literally fly to the other end of the stage to skip the entire boss fight. But it is way too precise to be able to do consistently without dying, so I decided to play it safe and just kill Shiver in the boring way. And the fourth boss is Big Man. Big Man is supposed to have many clones, and you guess which one is the real Big Man, but he is, again, really easy because you can see exactly which Big Man is the real one using the sensor upgrade. And last is Mr. Grizz, the big bear in space. Mr. Grizz is one of the bosses that I was actually really scared of when attempting this challenge. I could have died here quite easily, but thankfully I didn't. And then the last phase is similar to NILS, and the fact that you can't really speed it up. We are very close to being done now. Side Order is the last game left. Side Order is reasonably easy in terms of trying to beat it without dying, because the real game makes you have to do the boss fights without dying. Marina Bot we have to play with Julies, so I do the dev intended way of beating this boss. There's nothing really special here. So, for Side Order, I have to climb the spire until I get the boss that I want. This is why I decided to make the run with in-game time. With the combined escape sequences of Splatoon 3 and the Octo expansion, and the levels that aren't bosses in the spire, the run actually took just over 2 hours in real time. But you are watching an edited version of it, so here's Boss 1, the Elusive Bounder. For all these I'll be using Marie's palette, which is very broken depending on how many good chips you get. I was kinda happy with my palette going into this fight, but it could be better. For the Elusive Bounder, I try to shoot it towards the bombs on the ground. This will open up the shell and make the fight much easier. Then there's the baby cousin of Girl Power Station. It's the Intensifying Harmony. With the Charger, you can just totally cheese this boss fight, as long as you have at least one ranged chip and preferably some homing shots as well. You can shoot the robot lings before they even reach the ground. We're nearing the end. The fourth Side Order boss is the Layered Rotator. Here the actual fastest method is just to ink the ground and farm tri-strikes. They can do massive damage to the boss's weak spots and even hit multiple layers at once, if you don't miss. And here we are, 8 minutes left to beat 2 of the hardest bosses in the series. The Overlorder is first up, in my opinion the boss with the best music in the series. The fast strategy here is to use the explosions from the portals to fuel the special charge, and then use that special to destroy the portals, which then fills up the special charge, and so forth. Also using a tri-strike to attack the Overlorder directly. With this method, the boss is easy, except for the laser eyes. Those things are really scary and could actually kill you. Then I do the epic vibrant battle, because why not? It's technically a boss fight despite it being really easy. But now, I've saved the best for last. accidentally. This was supposed to happen an hour ago. And, weirdly, not for the first time on this channel, I have 2.5 minutes to beat the hardest boss in the entire Splatoon series without dying once. Here we go. Okay, first phase, just avoid him until the eject starts. Great. Phase 2, pop him while he's doing Bubble Blubber. Good. Phase 3, no strategy, just running on the mechanic. Good. Okay, somehow I'm failing for phase 4, which is supposed to be the easy one. Just die, please. Okay, I got him, but like, the entire zone is enemying. Okay, come on. Wait, I didn't lose my armor. Yes! Yes! And that is the full series, every single boss beaten in just under an hour. I was pretty happy with the speedrun. It could have definitely been sped up in a few places, but I am definitely not doing it again. And as far as I know, I'm the only person to have done this with side order included, so I'm claiming I have a world record. Anyway, goodbye.